Welcome to the 2025 Asia Pacific Photography Awards Portrait category. This is a category for photographs of single subjects or groups, including studio photography, lifestyle imagery, self-portraits, boudoir, beauty and fashion, social, family, cultural, and environmental portraits. Portraits of pets and animals are eligible for entry into this category. Photographs of animals in their natural habitat may be more suited to the animals and nature category. Entries may be traditional and/or interpretive portraits. My name is Sarah McGregor and I will be the panel chair for this category. And joining us on the judging panel, we have Stacey Cavalier, Johan van Kaan, Matt Palmer, Angela Eastwood, and Faru Uvari. So we're going to start with a run through of the category. Okay, can we have the first image, please? Okay, we have a score of 84. Sorry, guys, I can't see you. But Angela, you have a challenge. Do you want to take that?
Sure. Yeah, I scored this a 87. It's a very minimalist kind of portrait of this adorable little dog, but I just really, really appreciated the little narrative that's in here with a small dog with a big personality, and often times, I guess, with little dogs, they're known to have attitudes of a much larger dog. So I think that's been really well communicated and shown in this image, and it's just very, very sweet and engaging. I think it's definitely worth a few more points up into the merit range.
Thank you. Matt, can we hear from you, please?
Yeah, I gave it an 82. I saw that story of pride as well. Kind of like less big personality, but more a dog that's very proud of itself, which comes across very sweetly. I'd be interested in going higher, except that the lighting doesn't quite work out. So the light cast by the dog's front right paw is at a different angle that it's not congruent with the light source for the rest of the shadow. And I felt that that was quite a little bit of an oversight.
Thanks, Matt. Johan, can we hear from you, please?
Yeah, I gave it a 84, and I'm happy to go up maybe a little bit. I also thought the same thing, but then if you think of how a paw sits on the ground, particularly a front paw, it's possible that the forepaw part might be on an angle, so that would allow that, that would let that happen. My concern was the linear grain through the shadow on the chest of the dog. That just was a little bit unfortunate, I thought. But as a story, as a depiction of an ego or personality, I thought it was very clever, well thought out, and pretty well handled.
Thanks, Johan. Back to you, Angela.
Yeah, I saw those things that you guys mentioned with the linear texture that's in that shadow, but I it didn't really detract it for me. If you can give it a few more points, that'd be great. But yeah, I really enjoyed this and think it's worthy.
Thank you. Judges, can you please rescore? And we have a silver with merit at 85. Congratulations to the photographer. Can we have the next image, please? Thank you, judges. We have an initial score of 88, and we have Matt's got his hand up first. Matt?
Oh, who's the highest scorer? Or shall I just go?
You and
Okay.
Johan are both on the same score.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I'm on 92. I think this is a very different take on a portrait. It's almost a portrait of the personality rather than the person, but it's also a portrait that kind of undermines, in a way, the person as well. It actually takes me to some of the political situation that we're in now with larger than life commentators and the way that they draw attention to whatever it is that they want to communicate. So we've not only got the portrait in the front, which is, I guess, a standard kind of media commercial style portrait in terms of lighting and that kind of thing, that's been very well taken and crafted. But then it's absolutely unhinged as you start to look into all of these old TV screens. And then you consider, well, those are all portraits as well. The photographer has taken all of those portraits. They've taken all of the photos of the TVs. They've put this all together to create this really strong narrative about this person. And it's almost like you're looking at somebody that doesn't realize how bad the background makes them look, but it's just all interweaved into this mess of TV personality. So let's have a talk about it.
Thank you. Faru, can we hear from you, please, and your score?
Yeah, I gave 82, and I really found that it's really a striking image. I'm really with you. It's a character study of this TV actor. For me, it's more like he's a comedian stand-up character in TV. There are lots of smiling and anger and telling a story, being upset, being so serious, political, everything we can see in the background. And I really appreciate photographer put all these together in a very cinematic way. The background has such a greenish blue cinematic atmosphere, but the foreground is very commercial headshot lighting happen that is not really matched with the background. I would love to see that greenish bluish TV atmosphere or cinematic feeling comes through the portrait. That definitely would be, for me, would be right on the point of gold.
Thanks, Faru. Stacey, would you like to comment on this one and your score?
Yeah, I gave this an 87. I appreciated it for all of the reasons that Matt said. Those personalities in the background are great, and even the kind of the glitchiness of a couple of those are probably representative of this character's personality, a bit glitchy, a bit crazy. I was also a little bit unsure about the incongruence between the background and the character. I actually found that for such a kind of a characterful, larger than life personality, that I found him a little bit bland and just a little bit kind of pale or grey. Yeah, I wanted a little bit more life from him, really. But yes, I'm certainly listening.
Thanks, Stacey. Johan, you're also on 92. Would you like to comment?
Yep. That disconnect is deliberate and it's fantastic. The disconnect with the colours, the disconnect with the content, the disconnect with the apparent age of the televisions, although that might be a clue to the age within which this anchor man might exist. What you see is not what you get. The person that he projects is not the person in the background. And the photographer has cleverly presented us with a person who looks happy and excited and energetic, but in the background you see all sorts of fear and aggression, which is such a conflict and very powerful. And that's why I gave it a 92. I even like the slightly hot lighting on him, which makes it more theatrical. It's quite powerful. I gave it a 92, and I have the privilege of going up, Matt.
Thank you, Johan. Back to you, Matt.
Yeah, thanks, Johan. I'll just reiterate a couple of the points that was raised. I also see that there's a deliberate choice in color in terms of background and foreground. The background is kind of taking us back to those really old TV shows that would have that weird green bluish hue to them. It's a very nostalgic kind of thing to draw us into, and then we're seeing almost like a facade of a character that looks both very energetic, but also like there's not much behind that facade at the same time. And to communicate all of those things through photography is pretty exceptional. So I'm in gold, hoping that somebody can join us.
Thank you. Judges, can you please rescore? And we have a gold at 91. Congratulations to the photographer. Can we have the next image, please? Thank you, judges. We have an initial score of 87, and we have a challenge from Johan.
What an amazingly powerful photograph of this person who there's an intensity in here, but there's also a calmness that you can't avoid feeling. The intensity of the finger gloves, their pointiness, their sharpness, their detail, and then just in the closed eyes and the mouth, there's just this intake of air that is incredibly powerful. And rather than hit us with a high contrast presentation, the photographer has given us a muted presence, which lets us explore and find things within the image and strengthens that feeling of calm. The oval around it, the framing of the oval, holds us in and stops us from drifting out to the sides. Incredible control, beautifully captured. I gave it a 92.
Thanks, Johan. Faru, can we hear from you and your score, please?
I give it 83. I believe that I'm really agree with you, Johan. The color palette is really earthy, suits up the subject. The subject first, when I look at this image, I felt like it's such a character behind this beautiful face. It could be like a Thai or Chinese person. So definitely there is a cultural story is going on here because of the nail guards or the nail pieces. I think like the lighting is really subtle. So for all those that I felt like it sits in silver, maybe I'll be a bit stingy. I'm really happy to come up few points. However, I feel like in terms of prop, the skirt or the bottom, it's not really matched the cultural prop adding to this image. It's like very modern. It doesn't suit the nail decoration. And it's kind of distracting. There are lots of circle going on in this outfit. So it's just grabbing my attention all the time to the bottom and feeling what's going on there. Why is there?
Thank you, Faru. Angela, could we hear from you? You're pretty close to Johan up there.
Yeah, initially, oh, sorry, I gave this a 88. And at first, the only reason that really stopped me going higher was I just felt the skin was a little bit overdone. But the more I look at the image, I think there's a bigger story in here. If you see the way the hands are placed with the circular pieces on the back of the hands, and almost sort of you could say that that's representative of the breasts that this person is missing. So perhaps it's a androgynous or intentionally like that to convey the fact that they are not in the body they wish to be. But just overall, it's a very beautiful representation of this person, and however they want to identify. It's neither feminine nor masculine, but at the same time it's both. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. I thought the same about the little circular detailing on the pants or skirt or whatever they are wearing, but I think it works fine with the circular details on the back of the hands. That ties that in nicely for me. So I think I definitely would go up in my score. It's very beautiful.
Thank you. Back to you, Johan.
Thank you. It's interesting that you, Angela, had a question about the sexuality of this person, and it does create that question because of the shape of the face and the lips and how the eyes are, and there's an ambiguity there that makes it even more intriguing. I feel the base of the image is correctly not its strongest point. However, the matching it, restating of the circular pieces that are on the hand and the trousers or the skirt or whatever at the bottom is, works and does hold it together. But I could see why you might resist going higher because of that. But I'm at 92. I'd love you to come and join me in a closer number and just bring this image up. That'd be great. Thanks.
Thank you. Can we please have all judges rescore? And we have a score of 89, which means this image needs to go to review. So what we need is all the judges to either enter an 89 or a 90, please. And the image stays at 89. That is a silver with merit. Congratulations to the photographer. Can we please have the next image? Thank you, judges. We have an initial score of 86, which is a silver with merit, but we have a challenge there from Stacey.
Yeah, I gave this a 91. I really was quite compelled by this. Obviously, we've got the young lady with kind of Cruella de Vil vibes going on, and the black dogs around her, which obviously, which often is a euphemism for depression and things. Now, I know that the dogs look a wee bit they don't look particularly menacing, or they look a wee bit comfortable there. But for me, her look says it all. So she looks like she's just about to drop that lead on one side. She's broken the chain on the other side. These dogs have got really comfortable around her, and yet her look to me is saying, I've had enough. This is time for me to let go. So for me, this was about somebody quite young moving on, potentially letting go of the black dogs, letting go of the past, and with a very, very, direct look at me saying, I'm doing this now. This is the time for me to let go. I just found it really, really powerful. The narrative is really strong. It's beautifully lit. The dog, lots of detail and personality in the dogs. It's easy gold for me.
Thank you, Stacey. Can we hear from Angela, please? Angel score.
Sure. Yes, I gave this an 84. I could be tempted to come up. I didn't actually get that connection with that story initially, so thanks for explaining that. It definitely has a lot more to it. With that explanation, it says a lot more to me. The only thing that really was stopping me going higher was just the way the dogs were cut off on the bottom there, and one of them looking away completely is a little bit distracting because it's the only one that's not looking forward. But I'm listening, and I am easily swayed.
Thank you, Angela. Does someone else want to comment? Matt?
Yeah, I think like you, it's lit beautifully also to handle the dark coats of the dogs and the dress of the woman, and have your eyes go to exactly the right spots throughout the image. It's done, the craft of it is exceptional. I was struggling a little bit with the story as well. I could see that she was disconnecting herself from the dogs, but then she also was still holding the lead. So I don't know if that means that she's now not the pack and she's going to take charge of the pack or some sort of story like that. It's obvious that there's a story there. It's the kind of time where you'd love to have a 50-word caption or something, or even just a chat with the photographer afterwards, because you can tell that the meaning's there. It's just trying to compute it fully. I'm on 85. I'm willing to come up a bit, but I might struggle with gold.
Thank you. Johan, you want to say something? You need to come off mute.
Just a quick question, and it may affect my mark. Can you explain the asymmetrical lipstick? Is there a reason for that? I just couldn't make sense of it.
Back to you, Stacey.
No. No, not especially. I can't. But to be honest, I hadn't even noticed it. I was so drawn into what was going on in there. For me, it's we are on the precipice of something really big happening here for this young woman. So yeah, I wasn't fazed by the ellipse. Please join me.
Okay, can we please have all judges rescore? Stacey, you need to enter your 91 again. Thank you. And we have a silver with merit at 88. Thank you, judges. Can we have the next image, please? We have an initial score of 85, which is a silver with merit. We will accept that score. Matt, would you like to give comment to this one?
Yeah, it's a beautifully warm portrait. I can just imagine the people that know this woman absolutely treasuring this view of her. It's just so joyous. And even just the details of seeing in the shadows her shoe behind her dress there. I think perhaps in terms of improvement, just executing, like exploring the concept a little further. One thing that threw me off a little bit, but I'm not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing, is her traveling from right to left instead of left to right. But then perhaps the intention was for her to travel against the flow of things. So just a few things to consider.
Thank you. Can we have the next image, please? Thank you, judges. We have a score of 90. And we have 3 judges sitting in the 90 to 95 range. Does anyone want to challenge that? Oh, sorry, Faru. Yes, go for it.
Yeah, I really wanted to challenge this one. This image is such a, oh my God, the amount of emotional impact of this image is absolutely excellent. It's exquisite. There's a very strong story happen here, and more importantly, there is a family bond happen here as well. The main subject, there's someone that came with a very strong decision, and the whole family is standing with her and is behind her, is around her. The whole has created such a beautiful heart shape and added to the narrative of this image as well. The lighting is absolutely right on spot, and it's created such a moody and at the same time cheerful and victory feeling to this image as well. There are so many details. The post-processing here is absolutely refined and without any overdone. It's just like everything is so, to me, everything is so natural. There's a love bond happen here, and more importantly, it's supporting someone's decision, which is, this is a statement of this image. And I gave it a 92.
Thanks, Faru. Matt's got his hand up.
Yeah, I'll just add, so the way that I'm reading it, and I think Faru probably reads it the same way, but maybe it's a language thing, is I'm seeing it as perhaps, and not wanting to assume anyone's pronouns or anything, but a woman that has perhaps transitioned to become their true selves, and that they're in this beautiful position where the men of the family are fully taking this person as they truly are and celebrating that. I think also there's kind of a love heart shape formed with the heads, the dip in the middle, and then the arms kind of coming together for that bottom edge, which is a really nice, subtle kind of aspect of the image as well. Obviously, the lighting and everything is beautiful and exquisite. But I think it really is actually a photo that talks about what masculinity is and how positive masculinity could be, and also integrating that concept over multiple generations. So we've got basically 3 generations of men here, plus somebody that's come into that. And I think that's quite beautiful and has been very delicately handled by the photographer. You can tell that the photographer has taken the time to build a relationship with the people that they're photographing.
Thanks, Matt. Angela, do you want to comment on this one?
Oh, thanks, Matt, for that different perspective there about the masculinity and the male members of the family sort of embracing him in his new identity. I gave this an 86, and I was, as soon as I hit enter, I knew I'd been too shy, and so I will be coming up on this one. But yeah, I don't have anything more to add, but do appreciate that extra layer that I didn't pick up on initially.
Thank you. Back to you, Faru.
Thank you, everyone. I think Matt is add more value to this image, and I really appreciate photographer. And I wanted to another three things I wanted to mention: creating and delivering such a moody image, which we have in the bottom. The outfit all dark with the background is dark, but we still see lots of details. So I really appreciate the photographer just really well design and handle the lighting here. It definitely is sitting in the gold or even higher.
Thanks, Faru. Can we have the judges rescore? Faru, you'll need to hold your score of 92 if you can re-enter that. Thank you, judges. We have a final score of 92, which is a gold award. Congratulations to the photographer. Can we have the next image, please? Thank you, judges. We have an initial score of 89, and we have Faru with her hand up for a challenge.
I think we are so close to the goal. We just push ourselves 2 steps. This is all about this lovely, cheerful dog. It's the photographer creates such a beautiful image with the dog is puppies coming to the world, and the whole world of the dog is just having fun, exploring, and the character of dog is there as well. Like every single image has their own character of themselves, and the 2 red ball here is just like the only thing that really cheerful this dog. And then we have in the right side, the dog is just going out of the frame of the life. So it's such a cheerful and beautiful life, and photographer managed to create it. And the name is there with all shiny bubbles, and it's just showing how this life was so cheerful and enjoyable for this dog. I'm sure the owner has this image with really right sides on the wall, and it's such a beautiful legacy for this dog. I give it 92 and believe that we just need to push a bit more to gold.
Thank you, Faru. Angela, can we hear from you and your score, please?
Sure, I gave this, what did I give this? An 86. Really love the storyline when the growth of the dog coming through. I guess the personality, everything is all there. The thing that just jars me a little bit is the very bright light coming from the name doesn't translate into any of the figures of the dogs in terms of the light that should be coming from those, if you know what I mean. So it kind of just makes me the believability of that just a little bit in that regard, that stopped me from going any higher. But yeah, I'm definitely open to coming higher if you can explain that.
Thank you. Matt's got his hand up. Would you like to comment?
Yeah, I'm on 88, so I'm kind of sitting in the middle there. I actually found probably the weaker part of this image to be the typography, and I almost think, I wonder what the image could be like without it, because the journey from the young pup to the older dog is really beautifully handled. That said, the photographer has done an exceptional job of actually incorporating the letters within the photography and having the dog peek out from behind them and interact with them in different ways. So I do think that works really well. Probably it's just the angles of the light that are coming off, like the sort of spheres from the typography, that maybe makes me feel like I'm being a bit disconnected from reality. If the typography felt like it was more rooted in reality, then I would be straight to gold. I'm still considering it, however. I just want to point out though as well, is that none of these images are what you would go to a pet photographer and go, oh, I'm going to get a picture of my pet. None of these would be the standalone portrait that you would give to somebody and go, oh, yep, this is the shot. So I think it's really beautiful that the photographer has crafted something that shows so much personality out of all of these really weird and quirky shots, and exactly like this dog would be, really kind of just all over the shop. So I think they've done that well. I'll listen.
Thank you, Matt. Back to you, Faroe.
Thank you, Angela and Matt, for the comment about the lighting. I was like, I'm the person always be very fussy about the lighting, but some of the portraits, some of the images is more forward to more graphical nature to it, and lighting here is not wrong at all. It's kind of bolding that the story is all about. This dog have such a cheerful life, and he looks like a hero in the eye of the owner, and it's like a Hollywood, just everything bright, and the dog is just sparkling the whole image, and that's a hero. And also when I'm looking even closer, I see when the dog is behind those letter, it looks like the dog is more brighter, it's more gold of the lighting coming to the dog skin. And when it's just coming a bit further, like the letter is behind, the dog is has more contrast. So it's a kind of, in a very gentle way, photographer try to just show the lighting behind that. But you know, the color palette is really subtle. Everything is really subtle. The lighting is just there for showing the dog is the hero of the image. For that, I think if we have like really focus on the lighting, we definitely lose this atmosphere that photographer with the choice intentionally put it here as well. And I think it's not just one photo. Photographer managed to capture the whole life of this dog. It's just like the puppy to the be more grown up the dog. So I think there's lots of thought and plan and be patient all the time happen for. So all these things, excellent visual impact and communication, I will believe that is definitely sit and gold.
Thanks, Faroe. Can we have the judges rescore, please? Faroe, if you can enter your 92 back in that box. Thank you, judges. We have a gold at 90. Congratulations to the photographer. Can we have the next image, please? Thank you, judges. We have an initial score of 87, which is a silver with merit. But we do have a challenge from Johan.
There we go. Yes, I gave this a 92. Let's talk about the black and white. The black and white in it is stunning. Look at the velvet and the way it shines and glows and is in itself articulate. It says, I am a vestment. The shape that the circular spiral that we get from the father down his shoulder through the hand and up to the hand of the child below, and then onto the hand of the mother, and that central piece, and then you look into the eyes of the mother, but that's also supported on the left-hand side, obviously, by the other child, who conveniently is wearing a lighter shirt, so we see them, we don't lose them, and they're involved, and they actually have quite a strong part to play in this image. The strength here is in the defiance almost in the mother, the power of her gaze, the challenge that she gives us to look away, to ignore her family. It's not possible. It's a beautiful image, very well crafted, and I gave it a 92.
Thanks, Johan. Farouk, can we hear from you, please, and your score?
I gave it the 83, and I really agree with you, Johan. This is really well crafted. The lighting is just, it just creates such a beautiful and a strong image. And all details there in the darkest area. I think also there's such a peace and calmness is about this family portrait. The gaze of the woman, which is the center, and the strength of the family, it's so strong. It's just like I'm so proud of my family, and I'm so strong, and everyone are strong with me as well. However, I think for me that sits in silver. For going up, and I'm looking for something more, something that's like pushing me to the next level. That image is talking about more clear or more stronger story, or something that trigger me to ask question more than that finding this is a strong peaceful family together.
Thanks, Farouk. Matt, can we hear from you, please?
Yeah, I agree with all of the positive things that have been said. There's this one thing I want to draw to attention, and it may just be the nature of the clothing, but at the bottom of the woman's dress, I'm not sure if something's been removed, but I just don't quite understand how one textural value of the dress then transitions into particularly the two large folds of the dress on the left. Now, one thing that I got taught really early on when I entered awards was removed out in the mind of the judges. So there could be a world where this is just what the dress did, but it's something that the photographer should be aware of, that it seems a little confusing.
Thank you, Matt. Back to you, Johan.
A curse upon you, Matt Palmer. A curse. I hadn't noticed that, and now that I've seen it, I feel disappointed to have seen it, and because I cannot find an explanation for it. It feels and looks like what you've explained it to possibly be, unfortunately, because everything else is so wonderfully crafted and held together. All the eyes closed, the strength and the power of the woman's eyes, challenging you not to give this a gold, or to give it a gold, I should say. And yeah, that is a weakness, and I have to admit to that. But I still gave it a gold, and I'm very happy that it's sitting there. But see what you can do.
Thank you, Johan. Can we have the judges rescore, please? And the image stays on 87, which is a silver with merit. Congratulations to the photographer. Can we have the next image, please? Thank you, judges. We have an initial score of 84, which is a silver award. And we do have a challenge from Stacey in gold.
Yeah, I gave this a 91. It's just a very complex image, but presented so well and so beautifully. So with all of the different colors that within each column, the color palette or the tonal range of each one matches so well. We've kind of got a tendency to go from lighter to darker to the bottom, and then obviously across the colors across the middle. And almost every single image within there could be a really beautiful portrait in its own right, and it's all outdoors. it's you know, to create that many individual portraits of animals, which are really hard to direct anyway, out in the open environment, and then to match them in a grid so successfully, I think is a really great skill. That I from what I can see, there doesn't appear to be any dogs that are replicated apart from possibly the, and this is where my terminology of the dogs is going to let me down, but the kind of the lassie one. I think every other dog is different. And then of course we've got the wee cat in the orange column poking its head through, which is like the little surprise for us, a little Easter egg in there for us as well. So I think it's you know, it's a feat of pet photography. It's you know, it's very well put together. It's joyful, and a huge amount of work, and I think deserves to come up in the score because of those reasons.
Thanks, Stacey. Farouk, can we hear from you, please, and your score?
Yeah, I give it 78, highly commended, and I really appreciate photographer put so much work to carefully choose each portrait of this dog in a very interesting location and create such an interesting color palette. First I thought it could be a season, like the season color, and then I noticed that there is more than the season. It's all about the location as well. And however, I always believe that less is more, and especially in this image, some of the portrait of the animals is not really suits there. It's like pushing to be in that color palette. For example, the dog in the right side, in the middle, the black dog, which is really bored, is so cute. I wanted to be with him, with them at that time. But I think like the stone is turned to the purple, and I don't know why the reason is so purpley. Because it's not flower, it's a stone. What's happened there? And there is another image like and the dog in the bush in the left second. I wish I could know the breed, so I hope you understand it. But the bush, and it's like an autumn color, but the fur of the dog is turned to orange. Is a weird color that is not believable for me. It's like some of these images really pushing, or the dog at the end, which is looking the black dog in a red color palette at the end left. It was looking through all the animals, but still I wanted to see, but the red color is not suits with the rest of the color palette. So that's the reason I feel like if it be less of the animals, definitely I was sitting in a higher spot, and the cat is just right on the spot. I'm really in that part with you.
Thanks, Farouk. Matt, can we hear from you, please?
Yeah, I mirror Farouk's comments. I'd also add that I feel like the concept of the image is so strong in terms of the rainbow and the color that we almost move away from what a portrait is, and that is telling us something about the subject. So the way that I could read it is it's telling us something at least about dogs and how they bring this rainbow into our lives. So I read that into the image. But then I almost feel like the cat having that there is actually a little bit contrived and works against that message in a way. So I feel like this image is trying to be a few different things at the same time, and would be stronger to kind of really boil it down into some really key images. Perhaps even just one row of the best dogs of each color, you would still get that rainbow concept, but be able to target your strongest images.
Thank you. Back to you, Stacey.
Okay, yeah, I do appreciate that. Sometimes less is more, but I think in this case that more is more. I think this is intentionally meant to be, you know, there's so many dogs out there, so many, you know, obviously like colors of the rainbow. They're and I think it does bring the joy to us. I see what you mean, Farouk, about some of the colours being pushed, with the backgrounds and things not really matching. But I think the overall presentation of them is so it is very appropriate for the image. Okay, gold obviously is going to be pushing it, but I think we've also said some really positive things. I wonder whether we could just bring it up a bit more.
Thanks, Stacey. Can we have the judges rescore, please? And we have a silver with merit at 85. Congratulations to the photographer. Can we have the next image, please? Okay, we have an initial score of 89, and we have a challenge from Faru to gold with excellence. Faru.
I have so much work to do, and I'm so happy that I gave it 95. I've never seen any image like this before. This is it has such a quirkiness in this image. It's really cinematic. It worked in a movie poster or a book of a novel cover. This is like a detective, and it's a Poirot in the night. It's an English or French detective. There are so much details there. The foreground, the smoke, it's really remind me. It's like the old British series or movies that like everything in a fog, it's night, it's dark, and someone is just going to discover something. And look at the cat. The cat gaze is really strong. It's just like if you just one step come forward, definitely rip you up. I'm a tiger here, and the tail is just came and creates such an interesting mustache. So much fear, and I've never seen something like that before. The gaze of the man is just really strong. I'm really scared. In terms of post-production, there's so much details there. The lighting is absolutely perfect here. There is nothing bold in the background, but still you can see all the details in the background. And I gave it just a special for the cat 95, because taking portraits of the cat like this and sitting and like thinking about the tail, like his mustache is, oh my God, exceptional.
Thank you, Faru. Johan, could we hear from you, please? You're on mute again.
Yes, I did give an 87, and Faru, thank you so much for talking about this, because I really wanted to go higher, and I just didn't know what to say. So I'm glad you said most of the things. It's a piece out of a time, and then it's a piece out of time with a crazy story that we can each invent to bring to it. And the strength of it is in the two faces. Everything else is just supporting the main act. The main act is the cat, but also the man in the background. The cat has a very intense stare, and it's challenging you, and it's challenging me to bring my score up. So here we go. How's that?
Thank you, Johan. Does someone else want to comment? Matt unmuted himself. I'm wondering if he wanted to say something.
Yeah, I will.
Angela, thank you.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. It's so quirky and fun, and a bit of whimsy, and all of that, and gives a real sense of the time and place, and all of that good stuff in the image. I think it's a play on, pretty sure it's a play on words of an aristocat or aristocrat. It's great. I'm definitely coming up. I gave this a 88, but yeah, thanks Faru for challenging this. I should have given it more.
Thank you. Back to you, Faru.
I think I have support and really glad. I wanted to mention that when we're thinking about an image with gold with excellent, we are looking for exceptional visual communication. We definitely with this cat and those gays, definitely we have it here. And also the technique, the lighting is perfect. So much detail we can find everywhere around this image. Look at the fur of the cat; it's really shiny. You almost wanted to touch, the cat's fur with your finger. And also innovation. I've never seen say any images like this anywhere. So for me, it's so unique. There's originality is there as well, and it's creativity. It's not easy to take. I'm a cat person. It's not easy to take portrait of cat like this. This cat has such a strong character. Guys, I think we have really definitely had an excellent image here. And I would really appreciate if you come with me in that range.
Thank you. Judges, can you please rescore? Faru, if you can enter your 95 once again. And we have a gold at 94. Congratulations to the photographer. Well done, judges. And that is the final image for this category. Thank you to everybody that entered the portrait category for the 2025 Asia Pacific Awards. Huge thank you to our panel of judges, and congratulations to our top 10 finalists.